Good morning, world. This is the Propaganda Critic. Today is Sunday, December 17th, 2017. And today I'd like to talk to you guys about my superpower, also known as Asperger's syndrome, or currently known as autism spectrum disorder without accompanying intellectual impairment. And for the sake of brevity, I'll just call it Asperger's, and I may refer to myself as an Aspie. So, Asperger's gives me a great number of abilities and strengths, but also a few drawbacks. And a lot of the times, these strengths and drawbacks arise from the same underlying characteristic. So, for example, let me just start off with the examples here. So I'm highly sensitive to environmental stimuli, such as sounds, lights, temperature, smells, etc. And this can be overwhelming in large social gatherings and may also cause a lot of stress. Just a sec here. But it can be a great asset, however, as well, in that I am attuned to the subtleties to which others may not be, such as bits of crucial information in the environment, like the presence of something suspicious. In other words, I have a very finely tuned bullshit detector. Also, I'm intensely focused and tend to become obsessed with narrow interests. When I was younger, it was taekwondo, then it was soccer, and now it's chess and writing/podcasting. Let me adjust my light here for a sec here. Okay. Now, the downside of this tendency to become obsessed is that I'm less broadly interested than most other people. So when I engage in conversation with others, it tends to drift back inevitably to my strong interests and those subjects in which I have expertise. And I can come off as self-centered and arrogant. But an obvious strength of this is that my obsession leads to expertise. And when I can harness that productively, I can get a competitive edge. And this may translate into career success and lots of money. Not yet, but I'm getting there. Also, I'm highly rational and data-driven and am minimally swayed by appeals to emotion and to fear. Of course, I have biases, and I'm not completely immune because I'm human, but I am more so immune than the neurotypical, which is someone who does not have Asperger's syndrome or autism. I tend to think in terms of facts, not emotions. Now, the strengths of this are obvious. For example, I can generally see through propaganda and marketing gimmicks, but I also can rise to the occasion and perform in emergency situations when others tend to be paralyzed with fear or overwhelmed with emotion. However, this rationality of mind creates significant weaknesses in my ability to relate to other non-Aspie individuals. I tend to miss the subtle, non-verbal messages of communication, specifically those indicating the emotional intent and communication, or the emotional intent of communication, or the emotional states of others. This even comes out in social media and other highly verbal forms of communication. My communication, even verbally, tends to be more direct and matter-of-fact than most people. I don't usually dance around topics or rely on euphemisms or politically correct customs. A big one which causes a great deal of psychological dysfunction is the difficulty I have relating to others. So, Aspies tend to be lonely. They, just like any other human, they need other people and they need validation and attention. But for some with an obvious disability, this may be easier for others to recognize and they can accommodate. But with Asperger's, you appear completely normal. And a lot of the times, people will address you and approach you as someone who is just like them, but eventually, inevitably, the facade's going to fall away, and you're left looking like an arrogant, self-absorbed, know-it-all jerk who refuses to consider the feelings of others and won't stop talking about his own interests and ideas. But it's important that we don't forget that Aspies can be loyal, and they tend to be idealistic and passionate, and of course they're human. Without Aspies, for example, civilization would be significantly worse off. Some likely Aspies from the past would include people like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Bill Gates, Thomas Edison, etc. So I implore you to please take the time to learn more about this superpower. It's not just a detriment, it's an asset to society, and I think we need to recognize that and appreciate it more. So that's all I have at the moment. If you have any thoughts, please let me know. Thanks again for listening. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you can, if you have the resources and you think it's worthwhile, please consider a donation. Your contribution will help to grow this channel. So, thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.